Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, from the country's first business reality show to another that builds multiple startups, linking entrepreneurs to investors. How do these shows find the next big Filipino company? The final pitch and the venture builder, host, and creator, John Aguilar, joins us in the program. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. As the country's skyline changes, so does our responsibility to build a sustainable future for the next generation. That is the theme of the newest season of The Final Pitch, the first business reality show in the Philippines. This season, the show focuses on real estate and livable cities. Participants will be pitching properties for joint ventures as well as solutions that will allow us to reverse or slow down consequences of modern urban living. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have the final pitch host, John Aguilar. John, good to see you again. Welcome to the show.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me here.
Season 5, it looks really, really interesting and very timely because we talk about sustainable cities. But first, what can we expect from Season 5?
Wow. Season 5 is, I think, by far one of the most exciting things that we've ever done on the show. Not only because we have a really good young cast of investors this season. They're all good looking, so it's not The Bachelorette, no.
But you think it's The Bachelorette.
You might think, but it also looks sometimes like an action movie because these guys are really out to not only invest but even mentor and guide the entrepreneurs that come on board.
Very aggressive a group you have. So the theme, as I mentioned a while ago, is real estate. And, you know, it's very important now when we talk about livable cities because somehow you want to be able to know that if you invest somewhere, that it's a livable city. Tell us more about that.
Okay. So it's very critical right now that we invest in the right projects. It's not enough that we build and not think of the consequences of the things that we do and the things that basically that litter the skyline right now. No? It's quite a big responsibility for developers to make sure that what they build is in line with what is in store for us for the future. And when I say this, it has to be a future that is sustainable and a future that will allow us to be able to live like we are responsible citizens of the world.
And the future generation, obviously. So it is landowners looking for joint ventures, and we're also talking about technology companies and sustainable solutions.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
It's very exciting for someone to actually pitch to somebody big, di ba?
Yes.
To actually do a JV or a joint venture. Tell us more about how, the difficulty or the challenges of this show in putting it together and putting them together.
Yeah, well, to begin with, it's really a struggle sometimes to find the right properties to pitch to the investors, just because these investors have seen it all. From brokers, from different landowners, they have seen pitches essentially from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And it's really our responsibility to make sure that what they see on the show is something that they would not just be interested in, but something that eventually there's going to be a deal that's going to be formed at the end of the season. So
they can't yawn, when an investor comes in and it, as you mentioned, it's something they've seen before. They want something new, something exciting, something interesting.
Correct.
Yeah.
And sometimes the deal is what makes or breaks the pitch, right? Yeah. If it's not a good enough deal, then the judges won't even consider it.
How do you actually motivate the investors to give a good pitch? Because sometimes, definitely 50%. It's about that, how you present yourself, and you take out the nervousness or the anxiety when you pitch.
A lot of what goes on behind the scenes is actually the most exciting part. What you see, maybe when someone pitches, the 5-6 minutes that you see, that's just the tip of the iceberg. But really the nervousness and sometimes certain things that we can't show on air, that's really the exciting part.
What, like foul language?
Well, that we just bleep it out. But things that are very sensitive, that unfortunately we can't show on the program, but those things happen. And as producers of the show, we We see it when they pitch, and it's really amazing how things unfold.
Because sometimes when you think about it, you would assume it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity,
It is.
right? So here's the interesting part. It's when you face the potential investors. I want to talk about them one by one, and John can tell us more about them in case you don't know them. First is Jet U of Prime Philippines. This is Jet U. Tell us more about him.
So Jet Yu is our returning investor and our youngest one at that. He's only 29 years old. He's a millennial, but he's very driven. He has a property advisory firm, Prime Philippines, but he's also into real estate development. So one of the biggest projects that he's working on right now is a project in Clark with Dennis Uy. So they have a project together, and this guy is really aggressive and out to make a name for himself in the field of real
29
estate.
years old, huh?
Right,
John?
right.
Okay, next up is Cesar Wee of We Community Developers Incorporated.
So Cesar Wee is an interesting animal. He is a self-proclaimed black sheep. You know, the W group,
Yes.
of the family, he went out and created his own. And now his projects are really amazing. He has condominiums, and also he's getting into horizontal projects in the countryside. So very aggressive, and he's a great mentor as well.
Okay, that's Cesar Wee of We Community Developers Incorporated. Next, quite familiar, is Victor Consunji of Victor Consunji Development Corporation. This is Victor.
So
DMCI, di ba? That's Victor.
So yes, that again, another. He's actually third generation.
Yeah.
But you'd think it would be easy for him to just do something with DMCI. Again, another guy who created his own company, Victor Consunji Development Corporation. So his projects are really innovative. They are in the fringes of the CBDs, but they are, if you would see the projects, they're really amazing. High-end and very, very sustainable in terms of the way these projects are built. So scalable as well. You start off with a smaller unit or a smaller townhouse, but you can expand it.
Right.
Eventually when you have enough money.
Next is Carrie Lagdameo of the Mosa Land.
Okay, so Carrie represents Mindanao. He represents the Davaoenos who, his family, the Florendos, have been there for generations. He is now carrying the torch, and he's doing a really good job as the first vice president of the Mosa Land. He has come on board the show to try to see how they can partner with the new generation of tech entrepreneurs who would like to complement the businesses of developers.
And last, George Royeca and Angeline Tam of Angkas. We see them all the time as well.
We see these guys all the time. So the tech aspect of the final pitch, Real Estate and Livable Cities Edition, that's their area. So everyone knows Angkas, and these guys are looking for maybe not the next Angkas, but maybe the next livable, sustainable solution that will help us, live, I guess, more tolerable lives here in the metro.
After Angkas.
After Angkas.
Imagine having to face all these men and, Angeline's she wasn't part of the...
So George heard the initial pitches, but in the finale,
Angeline came in.
she was the one who...
I see.
who
So
heard
I
the
was just
pitches.
saying, imagine having to face all these gentlemen and lady for a proposition. It, I'm sure, is nerve-wracking. That's definite. So you gotta watch out for that. That is airing on
So it's airing Feb 23, this Sunday, 8:30 p.m.
Okay, watch out for that. That's the season 5 of the final pitch. You saw the investors, and we're gonna watch that on February 23. We're gonna be taking a short break. Don't worry, there's still another season after season 5, and they're gonna start shooting this as well as a final pitch. ASEAN?
That's correct.
ASEAN. We'll talk about that after the break. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, he looks familiar, the final pitch host, John Aguilar. So, next up is season 6.
Yes.
What's in store for season 6? Is there anything you can tell us right now?
So season 6, unfortunately, we cannot reveal a lot about it, but we are looking for entrepreneurs, startups who will be pitching for that season. We will be announcing in the coming weeks who the new investor judges will be for that. So it's going to be big. It's going to be every year every season we try to see how we can push the boundaries. So definitely this season has a lot in store for the viewers.
You got to really have to move it forward, take it to another level. After even this, watching season 5 right now, just your teaser on this looks really, really interesting. So season 6 will have to be better and more interesting for the public. But when do you shoot this, season 6?
So we shoot this by last week of March. So it's very near.
Yeah.
We'll have the press conference in about 2 weeks. And it's a call out. People can go to the website, thefinalpitch.ph. They can actually submit their businesses there. They have to submit a video as well.
Yeah.
So that we can see, okay, are these guys meant for the show or not?
What is the challenge of filtering those who actually submit their scripts or videos or proposals in your website?
It's quite hard just because we really have to filter the serious ones from the ones who are just in it for the for the attention or for the media exposure, right?
Right.
We really want entrepreneurs and startups who come in with the intention of raising money and with the intention of scaling their businesses. It can't be anything more than that. It is not an artista search. We don't want to make you famous as a personality. We want to make your business famous.
Right.
That's our objective.
But even with that, you still have a final pitch ASEAN.
Correct.
So how do you do this? You film in March for season 6, and you have final pitch ASEAN.
Okay, so by end of the year, we're going to be filming the final pitch ASEAN.
Okay.
So we're involving 6 countries for that.
Wow.
Obviously the Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam. So we're shooting this, barring any the virus. No?
Yeah.
We plan to shoot this by end of the year in Singapore, and we're going to get one representative from each Southeast Asian country to go to Singapore to hear the pitches of entrepreneurs that will be pitching from across the region.
But would it be one theme for all 6 countries, or it could be different themes for every country?
It's an open call out.
Still, yeah.
Yes, and the minimum investment requirement is $1 million. So the entrepreneurs who will be pitching have businesses that are already ready to scale. So it's not a startup per se. It is a high growth company that is maybe a market leader in their field and is now going to be scaling across Southeast Asia.
But is this the first time you're doing ASEAN?
It's going to be the first time.
So that's really leveling up the final pitch from your usual season 1 to 6, and then next is ASEAN.
Correct.
But you're going to obviously show season 6 first, and then shoot ASEAN after.
That's right.
All right. So John was talking about startups. There is also a plan for startups. We're going to talk about that after the break. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, the Final Pitch host, John Aguilar. There's another show. It's called The Venture Builder. Tell us more about this.
Okay. So with the Final Pitch, we actually help existing startups get funding. With the Venture Builder, we are going to be creating our own startups from the ground up. So it's never been done in the world where, actually it's beyond a TV show.
It actually confuses me,
It's really us building these startups from scratch. So what's going to happen is that we're going to be creating startups that will address very big problems. We're going to be partnering with the conglomerates to be able to fund these startups that we will be building. And there's going to be a search for the executive founders or CEOs that will be heading these startups that we build on the show.
So you're going to look for CEOs for the startup.
Correct.
So this is the complete opposite of what you're doing. Now you're going to build the startup, and I'm going to look for someone to head it.
That's right.
Could this somehow partner with, for example, the CSRs of certain companies or corporate social responsibilities?
Definitely, it's possible. Although sometimes there's a misconception with CSR, thinking that CSR is just a donation and not something that's sustainable. We want to be able to build companies that are going to be sustainable, initially funded, but in the end, something that we can scale across the region.
Okay.
So these are startups that when we partner with the conglomerates, we are going to be looking at what are the big challenges out there, what are the opportunities that if we put our resources together, we can solve through a collaboration from the startup scene and also from the corporates.
There's got to be a lot of meeting of the minds here
Definitely.
when you do this. Actually, very interesting because, again, it's an opposite approach to what you're normally doing. How exciting is this for you guys?
Very, very. It's something that we've thought of for quite a while. It was actually inspired by this course that I took in Singularity University in Silicon Valley. And the executive founder of Singularity University, Dr. Peter Diamandis, was the one who gave sort of like the template for me for how to be able to build this.
So this is your concept? I mean, learning from the university, Singular University,
Correct.
You proposed this.
Yes, it's venture building has been in existence for quite a while, but to be able to do this in this manner, I guess it's never been done. When I went to Singularity, the people there who were in attendance, the ones who took the program, these are heads of state, these are central bank governors. The CEO of ABS-CBN was actually my batchmate in that program. And really it allows you to be able to see how you can create the future in times of what we have now, disruption and exponential technologies. So right now, the goal is to be able to work with the conglomerates, tie up with them, allow them to have us utilize their resources, their technologies, but at the same time, fund the startup, but not have them control the startup. Because that's been, really the pain point of a lot of startups who partner with the conglomerates. Sometimes the big companies want to control and own the startups, and that should never be the case. Because once you do that, once you take majority,
I see.
You will not succeed.
So there's going to be a level of independence, I'm assuming.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So when will this be? The venture builder, when is this going to show?
So we'll be closing the partnerships with the conglomerates by the first 6 months of this year.
Okay.
And we will start filming by mid-year. And we will show this beginning end of the year as a 1.5-year series that we will be documenting.
Wow.
And it's also going to be a series here on CNN Philippines, apart from it being also a digital series online.
All right. You're going to be so busy.
Yes.
beginning March. I think you have some vacation time in the next week or so, but lots of projects ahead, lots to see on CNN Philippines. Again, you have season 5 on February 23. You have season 6. You have the final pitch, ASEAN, and the venture builder. John Aguilar, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Pinky.
Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.